All right, in this video I'm going to show you how to do the graphs for the moving plot slab for IB. This is what you want, is just open up a blank spreadsheet, type your data in there, leave a space up here for the title. So this will be time in seconds, this will be position in centimeters, and this will be, and we'll put the instantaneous velocity in there. Okay. And then these are just, this is the position of a cart as measured by a tape timer every 1/10 of a second. So the time is going to be 0 and 0.1 and 0.2, etc. And the cool thing is that Excel understands, etc. So if you grab that little corner thing and pull that down, it'll fill down and it guesses that we're counting by tenths, right? And then the first velocity is 0, and then what you do is we're going to make the instantaneous velocity be the distance traveled, equals parentheses, the distance traveled, so it's that minus this guy. I'm just clicking with the mouse in those cells, divided by 0.1. Okay, so B3 minus B2 divided by 0.1, that'll be the velocity. So that was 10 centimeters in a whole second, right? And then the next one will be 0.9, etc. Here we'll go. There we go, right? So 9 centimeters, and there's our velocity, okay? And now what we want to do is, I'm going to zoom out here a little bit so I can see the whole thing, is we want to insert a chart. Okay, so I'm going to go insert, and then scatter graph is what we want, right? And then I want the smooth one like that, okay? Now, if you look at this thing on here, I think what we want to do is we want to see the ribbon. Okay, so let's go layout. There it is. No, design. Okay, if you click on the design tab like that, we can move this chart. I'm clicking on move chart, and I'm going to move it because it's nice to have it big. I'm going to move it into another tab, right? Watch this. Okay, so we'll move it. There it is. That's kind of cool, right? So now it's like a new tab. Watch this. Right click here. Let's rename that data, and then let's delete these guys. Right now we've got like our own custom spreadsheet. That's kind of cool, right? Okay. So here's our graph. Let's get rid of that thing there. So I'm going to delete that. I think it's layout. There we go. Click the layout tab. And we want to add some grid lines, I think. Let's do vertical grid lines, major ones. This will be handy for making tangent lines. Okay. And then I think what we want to do is we want to click on the design, the layout one, and add a chart title. Okay. Let's go above the chart. Okay, and then let's click design or layout, sorry. Okay, and let's add horizontal title below the graph, and then axis titles, vertical title, rotated tile is my favorite. Okay, and now we just click in these things and we can change them to what we want to be. So click, Control A is what I'm typing, and this is position versus time, right? And this looks like a nice 1/2 AT squared type of curve, right? So let's go in here, and Control A is what I'm typing, and this is position in centimeters, and then this one is Control A is what I typed. Looks like it's selected. Okay, this is time in seconds. Okay, so we're almost done here. If you look at the directions, it also asks you to add a polynomial model. So I'm going to right click on this, and I'm going to add a trend line, and I want the polynomial. It defaults to second order. That's what you want. You want a 2 right there, and then you want to display the equation. So there's our acceleration. Is actually, it's s equals 1/2 AT squared. So that's actually half of the acceleration, that 25.82. So that would imply that the acceleration is something like 51.64 or something like that, right? Okay. So there's that. Let's go back to our data, and now we're going to do a drag, and then we're going to select this one. And for some reason, this computer is not showing or highlighting the control drag, but it actually is doing it. So I'm going to drag there. Okay. So drag, control drag, right? Insert, and then I'm going to do a scatter graph. And I think this one's the best one for the velocity graph. There it is, right? Notice that I selected this guy, then I did a control drag across that. Okay, and I think what I want to do is actually move this chart. Let's move it to below these numbers there. Okay, that's a terrible legend, so I'm clicking on that and hitting delete. Okay, and then let's go layout. Let's give it a chart title above the chart. Let's click layout. Let's go axis titles, horizontal. How about below the axis? Layout, axis titles, vertical axis. Let's do the rotated tile again, right? Okay, so Control A. This is velocity versus time. This is Control A, time in seconds. And then this guy here is velocity in centimeters per second. So don't forget to title all the axes of this, right? Okay. And then I'm going to go in here. Let's do a print preview and see what... okay. Whoops. That's not what I want to do. Print preview. There we go. And that looks good, except I really want to make that graph a little bigger. So I'm going to click on this and just make that a little bigger like that. Okay. And then I want to add for this guy a linear model. So I'm going to right click on this, add trend line, and it's actually, that's the one we want. Don't forget to click display equation. So linear display equation, and that is actually the slope. The slope of this line actually is the acceleration. Okay, so the acceleration here is saying it's about 52.3 roughly, right? And then this is half of the acceleration, right? Okay, I explained that in another video, but I think you're ready here. When you go to print this, you're going to print this page. Make sure the graph isn't selected. You want to deselect the graph, click on some other cell, okay, and print that. And then you also want to print this, and then you can draw the tangent lines, etc., etc. So I think you're done.